Hey guys, Gameboy 3800 here. Once again, we're back in Beam. Driving CRC today to go over some brand new parts and a brand new pack. Not really though. This pack will just be a consolidation of all the suspension and engine parts that are relevant to multiplayer, so that you don't need to download all 2.5 or 3 gigabytes of all my packs just to get someone's truck to work. Now you can download this one, like 800, 900 megabyte file instead of the 3 gigabytes that it would be before, and save yourself quite a bit of MP space. So everything I'm showing here will be in this pack, but also included in the respective adjustable add-ons, specialized add-ons, or front engines pack. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the BeamNG Monster Truck. A couple days ago, I did a community post about saying, hey, see if you can find all the new parts in this one screenshot. And some people got it right. A couple times it was brought up that the rear wheelie bar bump card looks different, and I'm like, okay. I didn't do that though, that's just part of the new CRC updates. But I guess it's somewhat flattering to think that I did something for CRC. I would never do that. I have no idea who actually did that. I'm pretty sure it is just new bit from the recent update to CRC that includes like the TSC chassis for the Monster Mutt body and stuff like that. So that's my best guess. I am not entirely sure though. We're zooming. And of course, I've been driving it this whole time, but we do have a new suspension option on CRC. It is dual coilovers. Yep. I originally did this for Skinner in his breaker chassis I'm helping him out with. And he's like, coilovers. And I'm like, sure. And I'm like, these are fun. Let's put them on other things too. So, we now have dual coilovers made from the PEI nitrogen shocks that have been chopped up in the coil spring model from CRD, added to them, to now make this hybrid design of dual coilovers on CRC suspension on both CRC and CRD. And these shocks are actually heavier since there's a lot more moving parts and metal. So you might notice a bit more understeer, and of course they're springier than usual, so you'll have more of a bounce. And because of their inherently simpler design, they can take a little bit more of a licking before giving up, but they're not invincible or anything like that. And of course, carrying around more weight with you, less than ideal for a racing setup. However, I'm sure somebody will make it work. Now this next bit I did in about 20 minutes after talking to Squid King about some engine ideas, saying, man, I really want to run this engine setup, but it's too powerful. Or wouldn't be viable. It's like, not powerful enough. And I'm like, man, I hate how some leagues are like, you have to run this engine, this RPM, this supercharger setting. Everybody's the same. Nobody can experiment, otherwise you're like banned. I'm like, bruh. So, let's go ahead and see what we can do here. I'm currently running the Merlin League engine in CRC, and it's got 1580 horsepower. I think normally the Merlin's like 1480 or 1510 horsepower in CRC, and the Ford engine's like 1620 horsepower. So this is a nice middle ground, 1580. However, let's go to our tuning menu and take a look at this. At the very top, we have a brand new slider. What is that? Engine horsepower modifier. Power change. Right now we're at 0%, so stock power. But let's say 1580 horsepower is too much. We gotta be below 1500. Well, let's try a small debuff, 5% debuff. And with a simple press of a button, we are now at 1503 horsepower, right on the dot. Oh my, did we just hit that power line? What the heck? That's kind of cool, actually. Anyways, yep. With a simple poke of a slider, we now have fully adjustable engine power tuning. So this would mean that some engines that were too powerful before, for like a 1500 horsepower league or a 1200 horsepower league, or however your horsepower is set, instead of having to find the exact supercharger RPM or engine settings to get it to work, you can now just go, hey, what if I just set a power increase or decrease multiplier? So now you can. This feature is available in both CRD, CRC, and Willman. Even the upcoming Willman update, set to come out later this month, will have this feature, so everything will be able to be equally balanced. And this is for MP reasons, because there's some MP servers out there that limit you in what you can do in terms of engine specs or horsepower. So some will say you have to run this RPM, you have to run this supercharger setup, or you have to like decrease supercharger all the way. I think that's boring. That makes every truck behave the same, unless you do like gearing stuff, but the engine will never be different. So, if we go to here, I have included some preset numbers that cannot be tuned, and they're 75, 50, 25% power. 75% power should put us around 1200 horsepower. And we have 1200 horsepower without restricting anything on the engine. So we are still free to increase RPM, increase supercharger boost, and because it's just a flat number, we still have full freedom, and we should still be below whatever limit the multiplayer series includes. So I decreased the supercharger gear ratio, but increased its efficiency. And look at that. We are still below 1500 horsepower, despite having an engine that now is revier and behaves different from a regular Ford or Merlin engine. Or, another way to look at it is you could use this as like a penalty system. Say you catch somebody cheating. You say, you drove over the white line and the other person crashed out, but you were still cheating. Let's give you a power debuff, and there are preset numbers here for 75, 50, and 25% engine power. So, if you get somebody cheating, cutting corners, but the other person crashed out, so they're still technically the winner even though they cheated, you can do something like this, where now they're like a 1200 horsepower truck. Didn't hit that line this time. That was so weird. Away we go. You see, it doesn't kill our performance enough to like keep us from competing, but we're obviously going to be a bit slower. But it's not like you can't still win if the other person crashes out again, or if they get caught cheating too, and you didn't that round. You could also use this as like a engine damage simulation kind of thing. Say you're doing a race, and at the end of the race, you start to overheat, and before the next round you can't cool down. You can go ahead and take the reset so that your truck won't just explode mid-race, but you take a power penalty. So say your engine overheated, next round, you got it running, but it's now running at less power. You can take a 25% power decrease there and still try to win. Like I said, the other person could always crash out or be caught cheating, and you could still win the race, even with a damaged engine. And each engine power decrease preset is made in a way that you could still move at the very least. Like you can go to the adjustable tuning slider, set it to 0, and your engine will just stall and die and you have no chance of moving. However, with the presets, even at 25% power, you're still running 400 horsepower. So you can still move around. You can try to put on a performance with some cheating penalties and an engine blow up. So you're at 400 horsepower, You can still try to do something instead of doing nothing. And this whole time I have been driving a manual with clutch gearbox in the League engine. But let's go ahead and take a look here. The 540 Merlin simulation engine, but we have a new option at the bottom. What is this? I think one person requested it like forever ago, and now, here it is. It is the Duramax engine and other chassis. Starting with the CRC. There it is. Let's go back to base power. Spawn with a 3-speed diesel gearbox. Do have the option for a 2-speed. And there we go. Got quite a bit of torque, quite a bit of power. Again with the power line. I'm going to probably set my spawn point not to be behind that jump, so that doesn't just keep killing me. There we go. So this engine is heavier than standard, makes a lot of torque. Doesn't rev as high though, so you're going to probably have to adjust your gear ratios in order to get your old speed back. The setup I was running before was good enough, evidently, in order to let me still reach about 100 miles an hour of wheel speed. So I can still pull out of a nosedive and not die immediately, so that's neat. Don't worry, it's not like it's uber powerful. Can put in a power decrease, or if you're running a multiplayer series, there is a dedicated League version with limited tuning and a set horsepower. I'm not sure you can even detune this. You can only have it how it is, but you can tune the gear ratios. So there we go. I think this spawns with the 2-speed gearbox. Yep. You can put in the diesel gearbox, because the diesel gearbox is also available for the stock CRC engines as well. And now, we have a thing. It's just a different way to drive CRC. And in relation to the simulation engines, we do have some front engine updates as well. The regular front engine chassis will also be getting the simulation engines, so the Ford, the Merlin, the Diesel, and the 555 Hemi will all be coming to regular front engine chassis in simulation league ready forms. Before, these were limited to the CRD 3 league specific chassis and its front engine placement option, but that was a very specific chassis with a very strict set of rules. So now you have more freedom coming to front engine spec. And I do believe that's it. Everything here will be in adjustable add-ons, front engine spec, or specialized add-ons, but also all the things shown that are like specifically for just the engines and suspension will be in its own big pack. You don't have to download 4 other things. So that's it for now. As for a release, probably, late this month, so I can try to get some of the Willman things fixed up once that releases. And yeah, I've really been liking how this pack's been coming along so far, and people have been giving some great suggestions. So if you have any cool suggestions, of course, leave them in the comments or find me on Discord. I'm usually online 24/7. Not really, but sometimes it feels like it. That's it for now. I'll see you all in the future. Goodbye, everybody. The simpler a design, the stronger it can be. What a wheelie. That was actually awesome. I love that.